Everyone, in this video of Agile Management and Practices, I'm going to cover the following topics: Agile Software Development, Traditional Process Models and Agile Models, what is Agile Manifesto with 4 values and 12 principles which are used in Agile Software Development. So the first thing is, what is Agile Software Development? Agile Software Development is one of the methodology. This methodology is referring the group of software development methodology. So this is a combination of methodologies which are used in previous process models, and this particular methodology is based on iterative developments. Iterative and incremental development is done in agile software development, where the requirements and the solutions are evolved through the collaborations between the self-organizing and cross-functional teams. So this particular teams helps provide quick and unpredictable responses to feedback they received on their projects. So this is creating the opportunities to assess the project directions during that software development life cycle. It also assess the projects in regular meetings called as sprints, and iterations are performed. Then next is, what is SDLC model? SDLC stands for Software Development Lifecycle Model for Agile. So this Agile Software Development Lifecycle Model is having incremental and iterative approach. In this particular SDLC model, the nature is iterations are performed based on the customer's needs and requirement. So these iterations are decided at the start of the projects, and these iterations is nothing but one particular life cycle, one particular SDLC, which consists of planning, requirement analysis, design, building and testing it. And this iterations is assigned to the customers to get the feedback on the iteration one, which having a few functionalities into it. It will take 2 to 3 months of time to complete one iterations. Accordingly, the number of iterations are repeated based on that customers needs requirements given by the customers. Also, this is nothing but following the incremental approach. Gradually, these iterations are increasing the number of functionalities, and increments are added into these iterations. And this process is gradually complete the software development activity when the iterations, when all the requirements are fulfilled. So then we can say that that particular software is completed. Then there is a difference between waterfall and agile. So what do you mean by waterfall model? So waterfall model follows the sequential approach of software development. So in waterfall model, one process completion, next process will start. That particular things are happening in waterfall model of software development. But in case of agile is quite flexible method which allows the changes to be made in the project development requirements even if the initial planning has been completed also. So the flexibility is there in the agile software developments. Then traditional process model versus agile. So when we compare this traditional waterfall model with the agile model, the waterfall model follows the detailed plan at the start of the projects, but in case of agile, there is a dynamic plan is prepared at the start of these projects. In the waterfall model, the sequential phases are conducted by proper documentations in that, and errors can be magnified in one of the processes. In case of agile software development, these follow the iterations. Iterative phases are conducted by the product delivery based on the prioritization of customers' requirements, and errors are minimized in this particular case. Functionalities can be seen at the last of the project development activities in the waterfall model. But in case of agile, the functionality after every iteration, a new functionalities are added into the products, and that increments of the system every 30 days time span. Here the time span of development is very long. Here the time span of development is 2 to 4 weeks. It's very less as compared to the waterfall. Here the project manager is whole and so responsible for the software development activities. Here the agile team is working for the development of the product. Here the requirement analysis phase is important to take all the requirements from the customer. In agile, the customers working with development team, and in every iteration that particular increments are aware by the customer, and customer can give suggestions for further improvements in the agile. Here the focus is on report and documentation preparation. Here the focus is on face to face communication with the team members is more. Then when we see this waterfall model and agile model, waterfall model, the risk of waterfall model is more in case of waterfall software development activities. Here all the defining requirements, then build the product and release the product into the market. In at the start of the project there is low risk, but at the end of the project there is high risk of failure of the product. But in case of agile, the risk is minimized. In this there are iterations are followed, and these iterations are perform all these process models phases, that is defining, building and release with one iterations. In second iterations new increments are added, new functionalities are added, and then it will be go for second iterations. Similarly, the number of iterations are repeated and new functionalities are added, and the risk of failure of the project is very less in case of agile. Then plant driven and agile development. So in case of plant driven development of software engineering is based on the around separate development of stages with the output to be produced at each stage, with these stages planned in advance. So in plant driven all the software development activities are planned in advance, and these activities are executed in after making a plan in advance. This particular plan driven approach is not necessary like a waterfall model. It can also follow the incremental development is also possible in this plan driven developments. So iteration occurs within the activity are possible in plan driven approach. But in case of agile, the specification, design and implementation and testings are interleaved, and the output from the development process are decided through the process of negotiation during the software development process. So when we compare this plan driven development, plan based development versus agile development, so in this there is iterations are possible within the process only, within that activity only. In requirement engineering they can do this, they can do the repetitions of iterations. But in after completion of requirement engineering phase they will specify the requirements in requirement specification process, and final design and implementation is done. And also if changes are suggested, requirement change are requested in further requirement engineering, all such changes are taken, and then specification and again design and implementation is done. But in case of agile, the requirement engineering, whatever few requirements or rough requirements are taken, and then directly design and implementation is done for that particular requirement. If any of the requirements are remaining, again they will go for requirement engineering, and they will work on the remaining requirements, and accordingly design and implementation is done in agile. Next, the comparison of failure rate of agile and waterfall model. So when we use the agile software development, the success rate is 42%, but in case of waterfall model there is 22 to 26% of success rate. The challenges are 50% for agile, and waterfall there is 53% of challenged. Then the failure rate of agile software development is only 8%, but in case of waterfall it is 21%. This particular survey is provided by Standish Group. They are conducting this survey every 2 years from 1994, and this is the most recent report published in 2018. From that, they have given these reports. Then second is Agile Manifesto. Agile Manifesto in is developed by in 2001 17 engineers or engineers, those who are software developers. They have decided to come with a good software development activities. So for this Agile Manifesto is developed, and this Agile Manifesto consists of 4 values and 12 principles. The first Agile Manifesto is individuals and interact. 4 values. The first value of Agile Manifesto is individuals and interactions over processes and tools, working software over comprehensive documentation, responding to change over following plan, customer collaborations over contract negotiation. The individuals and interactions over processes and tool. This is the first value, which focuses on people as one of the biggest resources for success of any software project, as compared to processes and environment, which also helps, but it will not create the success of any software. Then strong individuals are not enough without good team interactions. There should be a good team interactions within a team to make the success of the products. Also the tools, deciding tools. So focus is on to decide a simpler tool which will be helpful to development of tasks with shorter period of time in much better way, rather than considering a complex tool for developments. Next value is based on working software over comprehensive documentation. So here the focus is on to develop a working software rather than making the documentation of it. So the focus is to spend efforts on producing the working code rather than describing of that code, or to make the documentation of that code. The knowledge of code kept within the teams, that focuses more importance than documentation. So producing no documents unless it is very much required, very much important, immediate, or significance of that particular thing into the projects. Third important value is responding to change over following a plan. So this agile software development is focuses so quick response to change and continuous development of softwares. So responding to change due to any environment, any requirement change by the customer, or estimation of that software, they will quickly respond to that particular change, and accordingly they will do the further things, further planning, and accordingly they will make a space of development. Keep the planning realistic. Due to that, they will aware of what is going on in the project. So first they will know about the task for next couple of weeks, then rough idea about the requirements to work for next couple of months, and there should be a vague sense of what need to be done in one next 1 year. Last value is focuses on customer collaborations or contract negotiation. This particular value is focuses on the continuous customer interaction is very much important to get the proper product requirement. So customer is available with the development team. Customer can see the results. Customer can see the development things. If any suggestions, feedbacks are there, so after every iteration that customer can give that feedback, and based on that there should be negotiation in the contract, and in next iteration the changes are accommodated, are followed in the next iterations, and they will get these feedbacks after every iterations from the customers. Then agile methods is suitable. So this agile method is suitable for small and medium sized product development for smaller teams. So this is based on customized software development in the organization. For that particular customized software development, we can use these agile methods which are more suitable to used, and then there should not be a lot of external rules regulations that affect that particular software developments. So because of their focus and all small tidy integrated teams, there are problems in scaling agile methods to larger systems. Due to this also, are 12 principles of Agile project management. The first important principle is based on satisfying the customers through early and continuous delivery of valuable software product to the end users. Then next one is welcome change of requirements. Whatever changes given by the customer at any stage of software development, they will consider it and accordingly they will work, and flexibility of plan is prepared. Third is delivery working software frequently. After every iterations, after every new increments, they are added into the iterations and they are provided to the customers. And fourth one is business peoples and developer will must work together daily throughout that projects. Fifth one is build the projects around motivated individuals. Ultimately, the people and the people are working in the softwares, though those who are the main resource of software development. So there should be a good environment that will support them to work in that environment and trust them to get the work done on time within budgets. Sixth one is focuses on face to face communication for conveying information within the software teams. Seventh one is working software is the primary measure of any progress after every iterations. Eighth one, agile process will promotes the sustainable development and constant pace indefinitely is maintained in the development cycle. Ninth one is technical excellence and good designs are maintained and enhance the agility concept. Tenth one is simplicity. So the focus on simple design and coding is more, and avoiding the unnecessary work which is not important for the project's development cycles. 11th one is the best architecture requirements and design emerge from self-organizing team. A motivational and self-organizing team will emerge with a good solutions for the software developments. 12th one is at regular intervals or team reflects how to become a more effective and then tune and adjust their behavior accordingly. For this, every day they are taking a stand-up meetings, and in that stand-up meeting they will get the feedback about what work is done yesterday, what work is done today, and what work will be done tomorrow in that particular regular intervals of meetings. Next important thing is purpose of Agile Manifesto and principle. The importance of this Agile Manifesto is promoting the software development process which focuses on the quality by creating the products that meet the consumers' needs and expectations. So as per customer need, requirement and their expectations, this Agile Manifesto will work to make a good quality product. These 12 principles are also intended to create and support the working environment within the software team, which focuses on customers, which align with the business objectives, that can also respond and pivot quickly to the user needs and market focus as per the change in market, business needs, and requirements change will be also considered in these 12 principles. Then agile methods and software maintenance. There should be a maintenance of any software after developing. So similarly in agile software development, the maintenance phase will play important role, and also they will focuses on new software development. So if agile methods are to be successful, they have to support the maintenance as well as original development of the products. So there can be a two issues arise in this. So our systems that are developed using agile approach are maintainable, or given the emphasis is on development process of minimizing the formal documentation is important. So focus is on working software and minimize the documentation and how we can maintain that particular softwares. Next key issue, can agile methods be used effectively for evolving the new systems in response to customer change, customer request, customers feedback are also considered into this. Also, the problems may arise if original development team cannot be maintained. Then the new people will come into the team. They have to first learn the software work which is done, and then they have to also maintain a constant pace of development into it. Then agile practices and the processes, so is driven by customer description of what is required in that particular software. So in a form of user stories, in a form of scenarios, these things are done. So first is recognize what plans are short lived, then considering the requirement that will persist, will change, or customer priorities will also change, so that plan will be flexible. Second practice is nothing but develop software iteratively. So this software development is following a iterative approach with heavy emphasis on construction activity, coding activity, and these design and construction activities are interleaved with that. So if any change in design, quickly they will make the change in the coding phase also. So these analysis, design and construction and testings are not predictable in agile, because there is continuous change as per the customer's requirements. Thus, there should be adopt as change occurs due to unpredictability into the products. So, delivery are multiple. So, in that, software increments are deliver on operational prototypes or portion of an any OS to collect the customer feedbacks for new adaptations into it. Thanks for watching this video.